All right, gang, this is a video on how to actually operate this machine. If you come into the SBA office, you do have an assortment of pods for coffee / espresso available to you. This machine is pretty straightforward, but if you have any questions, you can always ask me. This is Joe, by the way. And yeah, here we go. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look back here and make sure that there is enough water. Usually this thing will serve like 4 espresso shots and then maybe 2 large, as in this size, cup of coffee. It's going to be more of an Americano rather than like a very intense coffee. So just make sure that you are aware of that and that it will be slightly watered down if you want a larger cup. So anyway, the way that you would refill this is all you have to do is put your finger here, pull away from the machine, and then you take it out. And you want to always make sure that you put filtered water in here because there is some mineral buildup that can actually screw the system up. So please do only fill this up in the water fountain. When you filled it up and you want to start your coffee making, you put it back and make sure that it's all the way in there. So it should be basically flush with the back portion of this. All right, the next thing you do is you look over here and you push this power button, and what you'll see is this button will be blinking, and that's because it's heating up. So basically the machine is priming itself. Then while it's doing that, I'll show you some other things to note. So on top of this, there's a lever. So basically you can pull this all the way up. And if you see, this is the shape of what the pods look like. So if you want an actual espresso pod for this, you will go into this jack-o'-lantern that has an assortment. I believe Sam is actually getting Nespresso to send what the acidity level, the flavor profile, and also the intensity of each one of these pods is. But that is to be determined. If not, I'll just make a little key that I'll leave probably on this wall that will help show you what that is. But anyway, you want to take one of these pods and choose whatever flavor you want. And the way that you put it in is you just follow the shape. So you just drop it in. It will look like it's not straight, but that's fine. That means that it's still ready. From here, if you look down, this light stopped blinking. So now you can actually get ready to make your coffee. What you'll do with this is you take this lever and then you push it all the way down. So you can see that it is all the way down. And because this is primarily used for espresso, there aren't many cups other than the espresso cup that I have. You see how it fits well, or some stout mugs that will fit, but that does not matter. All you need to do is actually hold your cup on an angle like this and it will fill. Sometimes you can actually leave it on here, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because you'll probably spill everywhere. So when you're ready to make the coffee, you want to push this button. And you see it's now pouring out. Delicious, delicious coffee. So I prefer espressos with this thing. The blue and the orange can be used to have a good flavor for Americanos, but all of them can basically be espressos or coffees. So if you see, if I leave this, it will keep running until either the water runs out or I actually push this button, because this is the start and stop. So I'm gonna push it again, and then you'll see that the coffee is there. Look at that crema, delicious, delicious crema. So the other thing to note with this is that is the basic cup that you just made. If you want extra water, you can obviously add some more as long as there is some in the back in the basin. But you always want to make sure that at the end of this, you lift this lever back up, because now, if you see, the pod isn't there anymore. And that's because when you grab here and pull out, this is the basin for where the pods go. And I prefer if you could actually dump this out once you've used it, but if you don't want to do that, eventually that thing will get too filled up and somebody will need to empty it out. These are recyclable pods, by the way, which is very exciting. So you can put them in the recycling instead of in the trash. Another thing is this drip tray that you have here. You probably saw at the end that some of the water was going in. If you lift up this metal grate, you'll see that there is a well where the water can fill up. Before you operate the machine or after you're done operating the machine, you always want to check to make sure that there isn't water in there, because moving this thing around, it will splash everywhere. Another thing when it comes to the adding additional water to your coffee, if you just want water, all you have to do is make sure there is no pod here. You close this again, and then you press that button so that it fills up in your cup. That's just gonna be the system running through where it's just water. Yes, it may look like it's tainted water because it will have some coffee residue on the actual filter that's here, but that's fine considering you are drinking coffee in the first place. If for whatever reason there aren't any more of these cups I took from where the other coffee machine is, so you can feel free to do the same thing. If the pods are empty, or if this pod bucket is empty, you come over here in the top drawer on the left of this desk, you will see the additional pods. By the way, there are going to be a lot more because I got a free secondary order because they thought they messed up the first one. So that's gonna probably be here next week. And the other thing is, these are the decalcifiers and cleaners. So if you realize that the machine is not operating correctly, just let me know, or actually look at the instructions on the back here. It's very straightforward on how you can actually run the system through to clean it. The last thing I wanted to mention is occasionally an air bubble will get stuck inside of the system. So what you'll need to do, and the way you'll know that there is an air bubble, is if the coffee isn't, or water isn't coming through here, and usually it sounds like the system is plugged, you want to open the lever and actually move it gently back so that it pushes down on the actual water tank, because that will actually push or force the air through the system. Then afterward, you'll know if you were successful in doing that, if the water actually comes through. Sometimes when the system has been getting a lot of use, as in you've made a lot of coffee or whatever the case may be, this light will be blinking fast. So all you want to do is just wait until that light stops blinking to be able to make your next cup. And if you're the last person to use it, obviously you want to just turn this off. And there you have it. Hope you enjoy the espresso.